This institution is advertised as an international institution, international art institution, where in reality, when you study it, the curriculum is very Western European kind of like approach. So in a way, you can't really claim to be, educated in an international art institution where the curriculum is very Western European, and it's a matter of internationalising the curriculum, which I know the university is kind of like working on and kind of like going towards, but it's definitely, I think, needs a lot more work, a lot more funding, a lot more staff to be concentrated on the topic to get somewhere really quicker, because our student body, I mean, it shows it itself. The majority of us, well, not the majority, but we have a huge number of students coming from abroad and a huge number of students that are home students, but ethnically come from other backgrounds, and they have to learn about stuff that happens outside here as well. Because if you talk about, I mean, even although I don't believe it's right to talk about art in a way of consumers and producers and all of that kind of stuff, but the reality is the majority of people that see your work, if you are really truly international, would be people outside of Western Europe anyway. So it can't just be kind of cater your work for a very particular audience when you actually aim to aim further than that. So. One of the main things we try to do is to empower student-led societies. So kind of currently we have the African Caribbean Society, we have the Islamic Society, we have the Indian Society, Korean Society. These are the most active ones. Also, there's the American Society's like about to start its work now as well. I think it's all good to provide the infrastructure for students from ethnic minority backgrounds to do things, but it's very important to leave it autonomous and not try to lead anything. Just give them the opportunity rather than tell them how to do it. So it's a matter of giving them the space, giving them the funding, giving them the opportunity to meet other students and kind of like organise their own stuff, and that's the direction that we're going towards. Well, hopefully with the research that is being done on the attainment gap between black students and white students, hopefully that research would come into effect in how the grading is done, and systems that some universities implement already to make it less biased by people that grade the work. So that can definitely be a potential outcome, and also giving students from ethnic minority backgrounds the platform that they usually don't have, like compared to their white counterparts, giving them that platform, giving them the opportunity to showcase their work and to feel accepted. I mean, if you work on art that is related to your ethnicity, your background, your religion, whatever it is, and it's not the norm within society, you usually might not be shut down completely, but you wouldn't have as much support as if you would working on a project that everyone would easily understand and relate to. So hopefully Shades of Noir would enable those students to explore those issues a little bit more, and also just the fact that with the events and stuff that it puts on, it puts individuals that hopefully would have similar interest, puts them in touch, and also gives them in a way a guide, which would be the tutors that come from similar backgrounds, that then they can help them to develop their project. So we kind of realised that the funding that was available at the moment was 16 scholarships under the name of Vice Chancellor Scholarship. But there were only fee waivers, so which means you don't pay your fee as an international student, come here and study for free, which is great in theory, but in reality, if you come from a poor background, from a poor country, you still can't afford to live in London, because as an international person, you don't have the right to work here more than 20 hours a week. Therefore, it's still, and I mean, this is a master level, so 10 hours a week, so therefore it's inaccessible still. So you're actually giving and also it was a merit-based scholarship. So it's not targeted towards the people from lower socioeconomical backgrounds that otherwise would not be able to come. So we propose that it will be looked at in a different way, that it will be full scholarship, so fee waiver plus maintenance, and it will be means tested, and then look at the merit of the artistic merit rather than look at the artistic merit first. I think seeing as we have very strong links with our ethnic religious societies, I think we can definitely kind of like, especially when it comes to events that includes both students and staff, so kind of like forums or exhibitions or anything of that kind, then we can be that bridge in between the staff that are involved in Shades of Noir and the students that want to be involved in it, that would hopefully enable both sides of the conversation to actually deliver what they have in mind a little bit further. And I mean, on the logistical side of stuff as well, we might be able to contribute one way or another with our staff, with the research that you're doing also, because we're also interested in a very similar project that is to do with how much money you spend on your final project, how that would have an impact on your grade. So we're in the early stages of like starting that kind of research as well, and that can maybe feed into the same topic of like, because it's to do with grades and it's to do with your socioeconomical background. So again, ethnicity would come into that as well, which is unfortunate, but it's the reality of it. So I think there's a lot of space, a lot of scope for us to work together in.